Prelims is round the corner now, only 5 months left. At this point, many students make such simple yet dangerous mistakes that they end up destroying their prelims paper. Many of these students are smart. Many have been working hard for a very long time. But even then, these small mistakes cost them their entire year. I want to talk about these mistakes. I want you to know them in advance so that you can avoid them altogether. Let's begin. Number 1, writing tests without a timer. Number 2, not analyzing tests properly. Number 3, not revising actively. Number 4, imbalance between syllabus and current affairs. And finally, number 5, spending too much time on others and less on your own prep. Now, these are very popular, very common mistakes. Therefore, you might feel, yaar, ye to mujhe pata hai, I don't need to watch the entire video. But I'm also going to give you very practical, real, rational solutions that can help you avoid making these 5 mistakes. So, keep watching till the end so that you're more clear about how to not make these mistakes. Number 1, writing tests without a timer. I have heard a lot of students saying this to me, sir, I practiced 10,000 questions before prelims and even then I did not get through. What more do I do now? You have to remember it's not about doing more, it's about doing the right things. When writing tests, timer is a must from now on. So every time you sit down to practice tests, whether it is GS1 or CSAT, put a timer. It will also help you to realize where do you stand with respect to speed in your test taking skills. Therefore, do not ignore the importance of timer in a test. Very important. Number 2, not analyzing tests properly. Now, this flows along with the need of a timer. That is the mistake number 1. Once you've taken a test with a timer, the work is not yet done. You have literally done half the work by practicing a test. The remaining half is actually analyzing this test, identifying where you went wrong and why, and then correcting the mistakes by learning about that topic the same day itself. When you do this exercise, you're not merely taking a test, you're also covering total of 100 topics through 100 questions. If you analyze tests in this way, even 10 full-length tests are enough. It's like doing less work but achieving more. That is one of the major learnings of civil services exam. Be smarter than you are. If you want to get through, if you cannot improve, you cannot clear it. So realize this very clearly. Analyzing every question in every test that you take is going to skyrocket your preparation. And if you don't do it, you might end up putting a lot of efforts but not getting the results. Let's come to mistake number 3, which is not revising actively. Do not forget the word actively here. Revision is without any doubt the biggest key to clearing this exam. And you might ask why? Because you read so much that everything gets mixed up in your head. And when it does, you need to reorganize it using revision. If you skip revision, everything you have read remains jumbled up. And when that happens, you cannot actually recall in the examination. And you will also end up making silly mistakes. If you don't want to make such silly mistakes or don't want to struggle with recall in the examination, then make sure that you revise. But do not just revise randomly. There is a proper way to revise well. It is called as active revision. I have made numerous videos on YouTube on active revision. I would want you to watch those videos, understand how active revision works. This is a new habit and also a new skill that you need to remember all that you have read in the examination, for the examination. If you don't work on this new habit, you will increase your distance from success automatically. Now, what's the point of studying so much if you cannot use it in the exam hall? There's no point, right? So, revise and revise using a new skill, which is called as active revision. Let's come to mistake number 4, imbalance between the syllabus on the one hand and current affairs on the other. Syllabus and current affairs work together to help you clear this exam. You must have read about the middle path as preached by Gautam Buddha. What was this middle path? It was about finding the right balance between different things that you do in life. Here in this exam, syllabus and current affairs are the two corners that are constantly pulling you towards them. If you don't balance them, you can't ace the exam. Merely reading about Buddhism and Gautam Buddha is not enough. Apply it in your life and your prep. by balancing the syllabus and current affairs. But you might be thinking, it's easy to say it, difficult to do it. So let me tell you how to do it as well, very briefly. When you start with your preparation, then begin by spending 90% of your time on the syllabus and 10% on current affairs. This is where majority students go wrong as soon as they begin their preparation as well. 90% time on syllabus, 10% on current affairs. Remember this. When you're done with the syllabus, then spend for some time 90% of your time on current and 10% on revision of syllabus. So you flipped it around, you're revising the syllabus as well, you're not leaving it, and you're spending majority of your time on current affairs. Now out of this 90% time, spend 50% time on covering new current affairs and about 40% time on organizing summary of this current affairs by linking it with your syllabus. I've recently made a video on note making where I have actually demonstrated how to do this, how to link current affairs with the syllabus regularly by yourself. When you're close to prelims, like right now, about 4-5 months left, then start spending 50% time on current and remaining 50% on revision of syllabus. Out of this 50% time on current, spend half the time on linking it with the syllabus and half the time reading it. This way, you will never feel unprepared in anything in the exam hall. Whatever question comes in front of you, you will be like, okay, I've read about it. I know probably less, a little or too much about it. That's a different question. But I know about this. I've read it and I can recall it very easily. Now let's come to mistake number 5, which is a very popular mistake, happens with all of us because of the way we think about competition. It's spending too much time on others and less on your own prep. It's a classic problem. We are more concerned about what's happening with our competitor than with ourselves. Platforms like Telegram, WhatsApp, Instagram, they become places where students are hanging out to have fun and also know about others. It's okay to be active on them. I'm not saying then don't be active on them at all, but not okay to be obsessed with these platforms. Right now, I see an obsession with Telegram and Discord specifically. Let it harm others, you stay out of it. Your life and your career is in your hands. Use these platforms only for information, not for knowledge or anything else, and do not expect also too much out of these places. They're like black holes that can suck you in and you will not even realize how you wasted one entire year on them. Don't worry about how the other is preparing. Stay focused on your preparation. If you can actually avoid this distraction, and because this is purely mental, you have to somehow just do it by yourself and stay away from these platforms too much. If you can avoid this distraction, believe me, 50% job is already done. So these are the 5 mistakes that in my experience are the biggest reasons behind failure of so many students out there. Avoid them, move towards your goals with lesser effort, more focus and more fun. All the best.